Hi there, Stacy with Limelight AZ. It has been forever since I've done an update. I think at least a month. And I am currently at 560 stings. The last sting session I did was almost 2 weeks ago. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. And we did 6 stings because it had been such a long period of time prior to that since doing stinging. And it's not recommended to, like if you've taken several weeks off, to jump right back in. First you have to do a testing, which we did. And second, that to not just start right off at the 10 if you're at the therapeutic level, which I was. So we did 6, and I was fine with it, but unfortunately things had not calmed down like we had expected, and in fact things got more chaotic. And so stinging got put on the back burner again. I think we are finally at a place that we can start prioritizing the stinging again. So I am doing an update again, even though I haven't done any stings except for the one 2 weeks ago. So first of all, at 560 stings, I did mention that, which is great because now I'm at that like 560 instead of having that 4 at the end, which is really bugging me. And I think we're going to go ahead and do 10 stings starting tomorrow. I did the 6 stings and was fine with it 2 weeks ago. So we'll see. Fingers. I can't cross my fingers anymore. Just realized that. I can get close, but I can't cross my fingers anymore. So apparently not fingers crossed that things go well. I'm just going to do it and deal with it. So what's been happening? And things have been chaotic. Oh, a lot. I don't know if you can tell, but my room is different. Sorry about the messy. And usually you would recognize like my lamp over here and then my window over there, and that is not the same anymore. We moved, and so we moved last week, and it was kind of a very quick, it was a very quick move, and it was very stressful. And that's why we had started the stinging 2 weeks ago, because we didn't know we were moving at that point. The place that we were staying in was the apartment complex my husband had originally been working at when we first moved to Arizona, back to Arizona. And because, look at this. Oh my gosh, it has been driving me crazy for 4 days. Okay. Sorry. Anyways. So that was an apartment complex that my husband was working at when we first moved here. Well, soon after we moved here, the apartment complex let my husband go. And then, as you know, we went through several months of him not having a job. Now he's working for a fantastic company I could not be more happy with. The more we learn about the company, the more excited I am that my husband works there. But we were just starting to catch up, and then my husband found this new place for us to live in. Where we were living before was not family friendly, and the kids were having to stay indoors a lot, and they're homeschooled on top of that. So they were not getting kid interaction. They were not allowed really to go outside much because for 2 reasons. One, because there's a lot of traffic in the apartment complex, and we were right next to the parking lot. Although there was not a lot of traffic in front of our door, there was just, the kids wander, and we didn't want them getting harmed. Plus, the apartment complex, like I said, was not family friendly, and the kids were getting in trouble for very minor things. It wasn't things that were really like they were being destructive or anything like that, like you would expect people to be taking care of their kids overdoing, and they were just being kids and outdoors. And so after a little while we stopped letting them go out without somebody. And of course, with me being bedridden and my husband working, that limited who could take them out and how often. So we have now moved to a new neighborhood that has a yard, and so the kids can go out in the yard as often as they want. And then there's a lot of kids in the neighborhood too, and they are getting great joy out of playing with all of the kids. So we're very excited about the move. It's also 3-bedroom instead of 2-bedroom. And but some other changes that have happened is that my oldest and her family, who was, when they moved in, was supposed to be temporary, have decided to go back to Wisconsin because they could not find a decent job for her husband, or for my daughter's husband, and so therefore they decided that their odds were better back in Wisconsin, and they have since moved back. So we have upgraded the number of rooms and decreased the number of people living in the household, significantly decreasing the chaos. The 2 toddlers together particularly was very hard on the family, both families that is, and so their family is now hopefully going to be doing much better in Wisconsin, and our family, although we loved having them here, is going to be doing better kid-wise with their family no longer in the household. So we're thankful, yet it's bittersweet. I don't like having my daughter, my first baby, 2,000 miles away. And I'm sad that they are gone, but I am very excited to see what God has in store for them in the coming months. Because it seemed very clear to us, all of us, the entire household, them, us, everyone, that God wanted them back in Wisconsin. So, little scary for them, especially Allie, because I'm still sick and my mom is getting older. Plus her siblings, of course. I mean, she's been around for her siblings the entire time, and the oldest of the younger siblings is 11, so that's hard. And we're sad to see her babies go, especially, we love both of them. And I mean, the toddler is rambunctious and super cute and has seriously the best smile ever in the world. But the baby is growing very quickly too. And so it's like, you know, we wish we could have the best of both worlds, but it's just not that way. So, now we all need to get back into a new groove. I had started homeschooling with the kids, redoing homeschooling with the kids because we had taken such a long break from it, and I am ready to get back to that. So we had started back to homeschool, but then had the move, and then of course my mom was gone, and so now we're starting back again to homeschool tomorrow. So I'm excited about that because both the kids are doing really well with it. And then on top of that, starting back to bee stinging tomorrow. So very excited about that. It has just been a nutso period in our lives in the last month and a half, 2 months. With my mom going to Minneapolis to get a break, to my oldest and her family moving back to Wisconsin, to us moving into a different location. It's just been crazy. But you know what? And through all of this, we have seen those blessings again. The ones that I talked about. We stopped seeing so many of them, I think, because we were financially okay and we were doing pretty good. And there was not as much stress on the family. But then once we hit the turbulence that we experienced in the last several weeks, then the blessings started showing up again. So that's been really neat. Love it when Yah gives us blessings because it continually reminds us that He does have us no matter what. So the game plan for stings at this point is to get back to it. We'll be starting back at 10 stings tomorrow, intending to do the full 30 stings this week, and be back on track. So how have I been health-wise? I've had some scary days, and they seem to be increasing. I've had some days where I had to take a leave to reduce the brain inflammation to cause the bad thoughts to go away, which are the scary thoughts that make me suicidal. I can tell now when I start kind of headed in that direction. And so I try to curb it with the leave, and it seems to work for a while. So hopefully now that I'm getting back onto the bee stinging, though, I won't really need it anymore. I'm hoping I don't have to take any at all now that I'm going back into it at all. If I need to, I'll go ahead and take more in the next few weeks as my body starts to get used to the bee stinging again. But really the idea is that I don't have to do that. So, okay, so, anyways, so yeah, the stinging I'm hoping will be going well. Oh, and yeah, so where was I talking about? Oh my gosh, my blind brain, I tell you, that's gotten a lot worse. My squirreling and my, not able to formulate thoughts and things like that has gotten way worse since not doing the stinging. My right leg doesn't extend as well. It was extending further than it does now, and my knees have been giving me trouble recently. Not too bad on the pain. Most of the pain is pretty much gone. I wake up in the morning with some hand and wrist pain, kind of arthritic-like. But like the rest of the body pain for the most part is gone. It seems like it's trying to make it come back slowly. But I think that we'll be able to curb that by starting up the bee stinging again. So I'm excited about that because I don't like all of that pain. And I have really noticed a big difference. I've had, especially with this move, a lot of bumps. And I am glad to say that they are not affecting me the way that they did prior to starting bee venom therapy and in the beginning of the bee venom therapy. So, if for nothing else, the bee venom therapy has done that. Made it so that I'm not in nearly as much pain. And also, I'm still pretty limber with my legs. I can still get my feet on top of my thighs, on the opposite thigh. And I seem to be doing that easier and easier. So, even though we haven't been doing bee stinging, it doesn't seem to have affected my ability to do that. So, I do believe that's about it. Apparently, an update. I have seen a lot of other channels that have talked about doing bee venom therapy, and then they just kind of fall off the radar and stop updating, even when you pose questions like a year later and they're not responding. So, I have decided that I would do placers in my weeks that I'm missing so that people don't go, was there a week missing or of an update or anything like that. So, you'll notice that like for the previous 4 weeks, to this video, it says no update, see week 32. I'm going to start doing that from now on. That way when people go to the update list that I have, is it just a list? I don't know what you call it. Playlist. And so when they go to the update playlist for my channel, then they can clearly see that no, there was no real video. It's just a placer saying that to go to a different week. So I think that's it. I hope everybody is doing well, and talk to you later.